Alright, so we're breaking down Can T-Boys Be Les? I thought this one was easy, considering the T in T-Boys. Les is lady squared. It's when two ladies go out, get Subarus, and get engaged after knowing each other for 2 weeks. Normally, definitions don't change, unless you're a liberal. The issue is that now they're technically straight. Uh-oh, you sold your Subaru. You're telling me that you spent all this time being part of the LGTVs, and now all of a sudden you're straight? Then there's a subsection of normal and T-boy. If you're saying that Les can include men, that means me and the boys can go out and get Subarus and bring all that testosterone to the Les bars. I don't think they're gonna like that. And not even wanting the Tony Hinchcliffes in their club. They probably don't see themselves as us for some reason. It's almost like they have a whole community about not being boys. But anyways, welcome to Logic 101, a show where we take stupid ass ideas on the internet and break them down using logic. No 4-year degree needed, just logic that you're born with. Today we're gonna be taking down this idea.
Y'all need to accept that trans men can still be lesbians too.
Alright, so we're breaking down Can T-Boys Be Les? I thought this one was easy, considering the T in T-Boys. But nonetheless, here we are, so let's define our terms. Les is lady squared. It's when two ladies go out, get Subarus, and get engaged after knowing each other for 2 weeks. Really, it's beautiful. I recommend going out and getting yourself a Les friend. They're great, and they understand the plights of men for liking ladies, so that's a plus. T-Boys. Alright, T-Boy used to be a lady, but has then joined the cool club. They put down their feelings, and are now drinking beer and watching football. A very small minority of them are. Anyways, that's for another video. Okay, so the problem is in the definition, which normally definitions don't change, unless you're a liberal. And then you can change it to whatever way you want, depending on the argument that you're having at that moment, which is a crazy superpower I wish I had, right? Because the last 5-10 years, however long you've been on the internet, you've heard this phrase being smacked down in our faces, that T-boys are men. There's an exact equivalent, or T-girls are women, right? That you should treat them exactly the same because they are the same. Okay, so if you're saying T-boys are men and T-boys can be les, then you have to include men in the definition of les, which I can't imagine some of these Subaru owners would be very ecstatic about, considering the fact that I've heard stories of leses having their own clubs and not even wanting the Tony Hinchcliffes in their club. They want no fun of the fun club. And the T-boys have already went to the fun club. They sold their Subaru, right? So that means that you have to then include men in the definition of les. Or you can go to the second option where you can say, okay, we're going back to the original definition here that les can't be men and T-boys can still be les, but then you're saying that T-boys aren't an exact equivalent to men. More likely, les is just a definition of ladies, lady squared, but then there's a subsection of normal and T-boy. Which probably makes the most sense, because if you're saying that les can include men, that means me and the boys can go out and get Subarus and get engaged to each other after 2 weeks of knowing each other, and then go and bring all that testosterone to the les bars. I don't think they're gonna like that. You know, I don't know, it's just me. They probably don't see themselves as us for some reason. It's almost like they have a whole community about not being boys. But anyways, or you can go to the third option, which was the original option, which I consider this to be the most logical and original of the options, which is that T-boys can't be les. You sold your Subaru. The T in T-boys is important. It's saying that you have gone, you've changed, all right? You are no longer a part of the Subaru club. If you transition from a gas to a solid state, or a liquid to a solid state, you can't say that water is still ice. It has gone through the transition. You have transitioned. You now are saying, and this has been affirmed by the idea that T-boys are men. This is dumbass fucking idea. Okay, so where does this come from? Well, the T-boys are both lady and liberal, which at times can have moments of being retarded, which I have a whole Patreon video coming out about why liberals are retarded. That's gonna be a great one. Join my Patreon to watch that one. But I think what's happening here is that these T-boys used to be les, and most of their dating market was in this lady squared pool, all right? They were just looking for the Subaru onlys. And the problem is that they want a piece of the cake and the cake too. I don't understand why this is such an issue with them understanding that you can't do that. If you change, you sell your Subaru, you can't be in the Subaru membership club anymore, right? And the thing is that they still want to date the les because their sexual preferences haven't changed. But the issue is that now they're technically straight. Uh-oh. You're telling me that you spent all this time being part of the LGTVs and now all of a sudden you're straight? Especially the more that you transform, the more, neck, beard, hair you grow, and the more you start looking more masculine, which I will say the T-boys, they transition the best, right? The more you're gonna look like the very men that they don't want in there. They don't date that. They don't like that masculinity. So they wanna still be men, but then they still want to be treated as a lady within this community. And you can't have that, right? I think the matter of the fact is that when you T, your dating pool's gonna go down because it's just not this, right? We'll zoom in on that. This is gonna give you the most dating pool, most likely chance of finding someone, as opposed to this. Now, be yourself, I can't imagine not being myself. This is the whole point of my comedy. But you have to understand there are consequences, all right? I make dumbass jokes on the internet. The consequence is a lot of people don't like that. I'm not going around complaining and be like, well, you should still like me despite the fact that I make stupid ass jokes. No, I understand the sacrifices I made. You should understand yours too. So you gotta choose one, right? Either T-boys, Can Be Les, but then leses have to include me and the boys. We gotta be able to come over to the les clubs and Subaru it up with all of y'all ladies. Or you have to say that T-boys aren't men and instead are just kind of a subsection of ladies that have tendencies of men, which they're not gonna like either because they keep saying this and they want to be treated like this, right? Or you could just go back to the original idea that T-boys can't be les. This is gonna be your best option right here. All right, well, that's all for today's lesson. I hope that this cleaned things up for you. I'm sure we'll be back soon with another stupid ass idea. All right, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to help out this channel. I'm trying to do one of these every week, and I would love your guys' support. Thank you.